This is The Party with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Coming at you from Studio B, Serene is ready. It's the Trim Healthy Podcast with Serene Pearl, and I'm Danny. And I figured out a great mystery on the way here while I was getting ready. Did you know that no-show socks are just tiny socks? Hey, it's time for the banter, the part you hate, but we love.
I don't know of a real man who wears no-show socks.
My husband definitely wears the long whiteys or blackies along with his tighty whiteys underwear, and he's a real man. So are you?
Let
Did
me
you
ask.
have no-show socks?
Let me ask you this, fancy pants.
Do
you know any real men that have their ankle hair? Because I do.
Oh yeah, my husband's got no hair on his legs. Is that from his long
my man
socks?
has ankle hair.
JD,
Let's
is that
check.
from long socks? JD,
Well,
Get him to text a picture of his ankles.
JD, you've got no hair on your legs. Is that from socks? Low T
T
did it.
He said,
Yeah.
I got low T too.
No, but he doesn't anymore. He's on the injections. But okay.
You're on the injections now, JD?
No, he's still on the cream.
See.
Okay, this is a good subject for the banter. We are going to bring some good scientific meat today, so hang around. We're just in the banter.
Okay, that's out of control. It's actually out of control.
He's like, I recorded a special banter heading, and you're stealing my thunder every time you announce it.
It's like the little sister who's like keeps showing up at
Do you
the
love
party.
my smoker's voice, by the way? I've got a cold, everybody.
You
Got a
do.
cold.
I'm not contagious.
Why
once
do you
every-
have a
A
cold?
once every
Because
10-year cold.
we're talking about how not to get a
'Cause
cold
I
today.
went on a vacay
Yeah.
and stayed up till goodness knows all hours.
Isn't that terrible when you go on a vacay and you go to bed at 2 rather than at 10?
Oh
I know.
gosh.
2 every night for a week. That'll do it for you.
Yeah. Why is that? Because you're
I've
you're
got
off.
friends, you know?
Oh, you're having. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
special occasion. Let's blow it out.
Yeah.
You know what's wild is every night is that for me. I'm like, it's a special night. There's always a justification to not
Are you a
sleep.
tour every night?
Typically it's like 2, and I don't.
Can't do it.
I try so hard. But you know, the other thing, I have teens. They ain't going to bed after me.
Right.
You
No,
ever-
even when I had teens, I was like, in bed, good night, lovely
Oh, yeah.
children.
No, I mean, if I lived out in the woods and they had no access to bad,
Oh,
yeah.
you're in the city.
fine.
You're thinking the hood is about to come on my house.
Shh, my
Yeah.
son's girlfriend lives a block away.
Right, so Danny's up.
Daddy's up until I see I go in, I crack each door
Oh, wow.
and I verify it. And I'm like, nah, they're faking. They're trying to spook Dad. And I'll just wait a minute and stare at him like a
Is
psycho
that
in the dark.
a real person underneath that, or is that
Yeah.
made out
yeah,
of clothes?
yeah. They stuff the bed, but I'll sit in the dark and I'll peek through the crack and I'll just sit there and just eat like a snack and just watch a child.
Yeah.
It's quite creepy.
Until their
if-
teenage bodies actually get tired enough and they just sleep.
yeah.
We have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Are we past the banter? Going to the
Danny's really worried he's out of a job.
The meat! When we really get down to business. But don't hate us for the rabbit trails.
What we're going to talk about today. Do you know what we're going to talk about? Our 3 most incredible new supplements. Our Bioorgan therapy line. Do you know what that means, Dan? Bioorgan therapy?
I had to fix her coffee. Okay,
Take a guess.
You have a Bioorgan therapy line, new product. Let me get it. I'm gonna get it. So first of all, it's bioidentical, and you're using things that are very natural for the body that match and harmonize.
Yes, it's super close.
Super close.
I'd give him a 7.
Oh, he's an easy 8.
Ah,
It's called Bioorgan therapy, right?
yeah.
It's obviously for organ health and support.
What do you think about that word therapy? It's not called bioorgan supplement. It's called bioorgan therapy.
Therapy. Okay. It takes. It's not overnight. There's a commitment
Nice.
to a time
yes,
period.
But does therapy sound a little bit more significant than supplement?
It does, in the sense that it makes me feel like it's going to be restorative over time, and it's something that's more potent and
Yeah.
better for the body.
How about more therapeutic?
Do we mean mentally or to the organs?
No,
Well, the brain's an organ.
Yeah.
Therapeutic.
Hey, but you know, we're discussing this
Good
whole
job.
bioorgan thing, and Serene will
There
come
is.
in with what that actually means. But I give you an 8, she gives you a 7.
No, we're going to share what it actually
Okay,
means.
but I wanted to say the history of supplements with Trim Healthy. Like a supplement, and by supplement, we have lots of supplements. Whey protein's a supplement. Collagen's a supplement. They supplement what you eat, right?
Yeah.
But when you're talking about stuff in capsules, that you buy, most of us buy off Amazon or GNC or whatever, we got so many offers to do this throughout these whole 12 years of Trim Healthy. Because, we have this huge audience of women. Women are the purchasers for their household, pretty much. And people contacted us multiple times. Hey, girls, we want to create a supplement line for you. And we even kind of started the steps. And Serene and I always stopped. Because we're just doing the supplement thing just because this could make somebody money.
Yeah.
We didn't want to, here's your multi, here's your fat burner, here's your this and that. And basically, they turn your pee yellow.
And half the time it's you get cheaper kind of ingredients so that you can make a really good profit. You put just enough of something in, just enough for a feel-good response. But is it really moving the needle, meaning nourishing the organs, changing things, establishing a new level of health in your body? I don't think so.
Well, we got down to specific formulas, right? We were and it was these are the formulas. We went back and forth tweaking. And then Serene and I remember one day, the furthest we got with one company. Serene, do you remember that day? Yeah. We sat down on the sofa and was this was the button. Yes, go ahead. And we're stop the press. And our husband's what are you doing, girls? We've been in communication with this company for 6 months now. And we're we can't do it.
Because you know what? You couldn't fit the therapeutic dose for some of those things into the amount of capsules to really make a response from the body with just regular supplement stuff. You cannot fit it in.
Yeah. And so we had Jordan Rubin, the author of The Maker's Diet, and just an amazing man on our podcast. Many of you heard that podcast, loved it. And I remember, Serene, one day it all changed when we went to his farm and he started talking about soil and he started talking about animal organs.
Yeah.
And then the organs of nature,
Yeah.
which is fungi, which is mushrooms.
And why? Because they actually produce spores.
Yeah.
So they are an organ
A
of the
reproductive
plant kingdom.
organ.
Yeah.
Is the picture
Mushrooms
that we've got the planet with different systems, oxygen systems with plants and everything, but the mushrooms are the organs of the planet?
Yes, they're called the organs of the plant world. And he's he talked to us and he was just encouraging us, girls, you have this community of women. You could really bring, greater health to every home, which is our tagline. If you did this therapeutically with real organs from the animal world and real organs from the plant world, it's gonna make a difference.
Mushrooms they produce spores. They're a reproductive organ, actually.
Yeah.
The fungi itself is producing spores to reproduce itself over and over.
Oh,
Now-
you had me at mushrooms. What kind of mushrooms?
Oh,
We'll talk about them, but other people are doing mushrooms. Serene and I have been into mushrooms throughout our health journey. I've taken different mushrooms. I just never know what worked for what, and I was kind of sporadic, and I'd stop and I'd start. I've taken some animal organs over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Serene, you've been very diligent
This is
about
not a new
it.
thing. The animal organ thing has been, we're actually catching up to the people of yore with the animal organs. People these
The
days,
ancients.
it's not a new thing. It's an ancient thing, the animal
But
organs. And everyone knows
ancient
that.
medicine was animal organs, and we're going to talk about what they
Actually, our Western
flip and
world
do.
is really the only estranged culture from organ eating.
Are they good to eat?
No, they're
well,
Like a
gross.
steak
they're
is
gross,
good.
but if
Okay.
you can eat them, more power to you. We don't eat them. We
Cultures
can't.
love them because
Yeah.
they're growing up with it. But if you haven't grown up with that texture and that flavor, it can gross you out.
Yeah, because that would when you think of some of these organs are like filters for bad things, and then you eat that. I
Yeah,
don't
but
get
that's
it.
amazing. Well, grass-fed is really important.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but the organs
actually,
actually
like liver and stuff,
yeah.
it doesn't actually contain toxins.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
just
filter
gets
for
rid
it.
of them.
It's where they get rid of it. It's not actually the place where they're stored.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so the ancients had the organs as healers and the literal healers, and we'll go into that today. But the ancients also had the mushrooms, and they were grown in different soil. So these organs of the plant world are some of the most healing plants. They're not really plants; they're their own species. in nature, and it's just incredible as we got into study
and
about
it's
what
when
they
we
do.
combine them.
Yeah, so that's what's unique with what we're doing.
Well, I think some people have combined them before too, but in the amounts, and also adding other synergistic herbs and bacteria, natural
Extracts,
bacteria and extracts to really combine and make this thing we're bringing to the public a therapy, not a supplement, but more of a medicine.
And
so does it function? Will this replace vitamins? What?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
it
good
does.
question, and we're going to go into what it replaces, because it doesn't replace everything, but it replaces a lot of things. But I want to talk about what bioorgan therapy means. I mean, you said bio, which means identical, but
Of the body.
Yeah, bio just means of the body.
Okay.
So, and we're doing this thing like the ancients did, and a like treats like. So that's what this whole therapy is about.
From the animal kingdom that is like the organ in the human body, and it's like of the body treats of the body.
Yeah.
Not something synthetic treating the body, but of the body for the body. So, I mean, this is really an ancient thought. There was even an idea where they actually labeled it called the doctrine of signatures. And it was from an ancient Roman naturalist. And it was where, even like in the plant world, things that had a signature that looked like something of the body, like a walnut, kind of has a signature that looks like the human brain.
Yeah.
And eyebright. Why do they get the idea of using eyebright for eyes? The eyebright flower.
It looks like
because
an eye.
it looks like the pupil of an eye. And so sometimes there's a signature on something in nature that says, hey, this can treat
And you could say, well, that's great, but they didn't have science back then to back it all up. But
Shoot.
But now science is backing all that up, like liver. And we're going to talk big time about, grass-fed bovine liver today. So the liver of an animal filters toxins and things like that. But the liver, when we ingest that liver, our own livers are benefited, and our own cleansing aspects of the body. And that's what I want to talk about today. It's so exciting, especially for people like me with any MTHFR mutations, and half the population, Danny, has it. I don't know if you've ever tested for MTHFR.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a bit of a mutation. I don't really call it a mutation, though. If so many of us have it, it's a double copy of a gene. And if you have, there's two main ones. If you have a double copy of these, you have troubles with methylation in your body.
Interesting.
And when you have troubles with methylation, you have trouble detoxing.
Okay.
And you have trouble with your DNA, your very DNA. So methylation is what tells your body to turn the good genes on, turn the bad ones off. And for most of us, methylation goes down with aging anyway, but those of us that have this MTHFR, we're already we already have a challenge with it.
So is a symptom like bloating?
No. A symptom is like inflammation. A symptom is, you have rise for more diseases. You're exposed to more diseases. You have more inflammation in your body. You have a problem detoxing.
more like a toxic overload.
So
Interesting.
liver, grass-fed bovine liver, is the most powerful of all foods on this planet to actually help your methylation.
Wow.
So it does it through methylated, naturally methylated B vitamins, and like B12 and folate. It's the highest food with folate on the planet. Next comes lentils, I believe. Lentils are great. And so it's amazing. You think of liver in an animal, detoxing, filtering. You take that liver, you eat it, well, then you start detoxing.
Yeah.
And rather than going on a green juice cleanse, I'm going to detox my body, take some liver, baby.
Yeah.
It's
and
incredible.
they found now that the heart organ, and of course from grass-fed organs, it incredibly nourishes the heart.
Yes.
I mean, it's just over and over and over that the organ nourishes the organ.
So is this going to be pill form, powder form?
Yeah, a supplement form. So we're going to talk about each one.
Because, these days people don't necessarily want to chew
Dank
down.
and liver powder on my milkshake. Can't do that.
Yeah, or now eating grass-fed liver, more power to you if you can. We weren't raised with it, and I know people who eat it.
Love it.
Our generation of our parents, right, and grandparents, they all ate
They ate the entire animal.
Liver
My
and
mom was
onions.
raised on
Yep.
the entire animal because her father, he was a great hunter. And he butchered their own meat, and they ate everything, even down to the sweetbreads, the intestines.
Danny, your people, we went to Mexico recently. We're in Mazatlan and we took our mum to the market there. And we were looking at the they have just the butcher with all the meats and all the entrails, like the gut, the pancreas. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, this is fantastic! I would love to go to this market." And
My
eat
mum
all the
was,
things
that's
I
how we were
on."
raised, girls. That's actually, she's like, I raised you with that. And we're like, what, mum? She's like, yes, as children, I gave you this. And then
You would
we were
eat
like,
entrails.
we didn't know. And we're like, now we want to thank our mum because it gave us this good start for our guts,
So
Danny.
it's healthy for you.
Yeah.
You go to the market and do they scoop up
Yeah, they scoop up all
handfuls of just like
Yeah.
squishy
Yeah.
guts.
Yeah. And people know how to make them into tasty meals. Now, I don't want to do that.
But
I'll
even
take
our
it in a
taxi driver
supplement.
that took us to the market.
yeah.
Remember, he's like, once a week, our whole family gathers around and we have this, is it menudo, right?
Yeah.
And that is the intestines.
Right.
And he's like, there's nothing so satisfying. But he's like, you know what? You get hungry quick afterwards because it's so full of enzymes. It's digested so easily.
So that's what we're going to talk about our gut supplement first. And that's, Danny, what it's got in it. Natural
so-
forms of intestine.
Okay, so you're going to save us from the big handfuls of intestines and
Yeah.
liver that we have to eat. Have you ever had liver and onions? Or
No.
just liver
I
and
have,
liver?
and I just couldn't. It's the texture of the liver. I couldn't.
It's
and
just
the
wiggly-
haggis, my husband likes to make haggis from time to time.
What's
With
haggis?
liver. It's a Scottish dish
It
with
even
a bunch
sounds
of
bad.
entrails in it. Yeah. Haggis.
Think of the words entrails, haggis. Like you, it's
But
like
it's so good for you. You know what? It's biblical too. On the night of the Passover, when they had to eat that lamb, God actually said in the scripture, eat the whole lamb. Now, why? Think about
But it
maybe.
was, of course, spiritual
Of course
application.
it's spiritual.
But
If you're a Christian, you take on the whole form of Christ, right? But practically, they had to go on this arduous journey through a desert, cross a sea. What they needed was the B vitamins for energy, and that's in the organs. They needed all these things for detoxification. They needed their blood to be fortified. They needed energy, B12. They needed they needed immune. And where is your immune? It comes from these organs inside the animals. So God was basically fortifying them up with their medicines.
Is it better to eat it straight out of the animal, of course, prepared and everything? Is it okay to process, powderize, get into
these
Yeah.
days,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
freeze
think-
dried, desiccated,
yeah,
and then
these
you get
days
the
they
grass-fed
preserve
animals.
everything.
Okay.
Because when you're going to Mexico and you're going to that market, sure, it's great, but I don't know exactly where they got that
Nope.
cow from.
And we have tried to source not just grass-fed and organic, but regenerative, where they're actually eating the grasses from soil
Soils.
that have been, like beyond organic gardening, where it's just they've been enriching these soils like
With all sorts of animal life that are pooping on the grasses, so the grasses are so rich with
Rich,
minerals and
yeah.
stuff.
Nice. I notice that when I'm walking my dogs, they always gravitate towards these really green grass patches that are grown more than
Yeah,
others.
interesting. And
it's-
that's what they pee on?
They pee on those. And the reason is other animals are, but I think it starts as normal grass. An animal chooses that spot for whatever reason. Now it's marked, so other animals keep peeing in that spot, which is actually fertilizing. Consequently, when I pee in my backyard, it kills the grass.
we have to
Yeah,
think
we have to
about
look.
that.
Well, something. Yeah, I don't know, Dan.
Am I
But
rabbit
my
trailing?
daughter, this should go on the banter, but my little granddaughter, Isla,
Yeah.
she came to our house yesterday. She's on the swing set, and then she's 3, just took off her underwear and peed like a boy, on the grass. And Megan, her mom, my daughter-in-law, was laughing. She's like, yeah, because her best friend is little Hero, her cousin, and he's a boy and he's 3. And, he does that because
Yeah.
he's got something to do that. Spray.
Yeah.
Well, she wanted, and I had that when I was a little girl. I wanted to be like a boy to pee, but that's definitely for the banter, isn't it?
Yeah, I used
It's
to.
very sad for us little girls when boys can do it.
Well, it's wild just even how kids think. Like my dream in life at one point was to just pee in the sink. Anybody else? Like you wanted to, and I would think about it, and I
wanted
was
to.
like, no. Like a long time went by when I was like, you can't pee in the sink. What the world will explode. But then one day it was just like I was old enough. I lock the door, kind of still check, right, when you're about to do something wrong. And I stood up on the counter and I peed in the sink and I was just like,
Stood up.
oh, I mean, it was breathtaking. It was more than I had hoped.
I hope you really cleanse that sink. Your
Oh,
poor
I
mom.
hope so too. Hey, to the gut therapy for all the
Okay,
people
so we
that
should
hate our
say we've
banter
got
outside of banter.
3 supplements so far. First one, let's discuss gut therapy.
It's gut therapy. And the organ. We have many organs in that. We don't just have one. But to begin with, we have the grass-fed duodenum, which is absolutely amazing. It helps with digestion. It cuts down gut inflammation. It actually heals leaky gut and increases the bioavailability. That's a word. That's a tongue twister. Bioavailability. It increases the bioavailability.
Because you want to say bioavailability. Like you want to combine it.
Yeah, of all the vitamins and minerals in your meals. So
Okay.
not only supports the gut, but it supports the food the gut's about to receive.
And this is a part of the stomach area, duodenum, isn't
Now,
it?
is it duodenum?
Or is it an duodenum? I've heard it
I
both
think
ways.
it's duodenum, but I might be wrong.
Hey, have you ever watched Psych, that show?
No.
Oh, it's so good. And they always say, they always say to each other, I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
But you know,
Probably is.
the duodenum, boy, I've got trouble speaking today. The duodenum,
Let's turn to the internet.
it helps break down the fats, the carbohydrates, and the proteins. So it's an
Yeah.
incredible digestive aid. It also, Pearl, it slashes like the bad bacteria. So it's actually a cleanser of the gut as well.
And now we should talk about what else, we've got 2 animal organs in the gut
But
supplement.
also, I'm not done with the duodenum.
Okay, but we've got 1
Hey,
hour to
It
fit
actually
3
even helps the
supplements.
thyroid.
Hey,
I
let me
know.
give it to you.
Duodenum.
Duodenum.
Well, I've heard it
Duodenum.
both ways.
Okay, psych.
But pancreas, okay, now.
You want to move on? There's so much more duodenum.
No, we'll never get through this, Bob.
Duodenum.
You
That's
are not aware
weird.
of time, and the big sister is.
Okay.
Pancreas, our mom grew up on this, and she said they called it sweetbreads.
Yes. Yes.
And, pancreas is that's what in your body is producing digestive enzymes.
Right.
That's what it
And
is.
specifically the one that digests protein.
Yes.
So that's incredible because, a lot of people today, after 30, we all have sarcopenia, right? Where
Yeah.
muscle is starting to waste at a faster pace than we can actually synthesize it and keep it built in our body. So we have muscle wasting. But the problem is, as Americans, they can consume quite a large amount of protein. We're not in a starving nation. People can get protein. They don't always choose it. But they can get it. But we don't actually digest protein in our broken, toxic bodies as well as we should. But the pancreas helps us actually digest all of that protein and have it more bioavailable, and then we can actually use it for muscle turnover. So
Desiccated pancreas. And when we say desiccated, Danny, we just mean there's nothing happened to it, no additives. It just means that it's in its freeze-dried, powdered form.
I've imagined, it helps me to have
turn that on?
pictures of things because when you have data and science and everything, it's like, well, what shall I pick? What do I think about when I think about my body? And it sounds to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I've pictured the body when it's not in optimal health, when all its systems are not experiencing homeostasis. I picture it like a dry sponge where even quality, good organic foods don't fully get assimilated into the body.
Good picture.
It comes in and it goes out. And while it's better than junk food, even healthy food may not absorb right. And so one reason I've been paying attention to what you've been saying lately is that I'm starting to understand that concept, and I'm wondering, are these type of supplements these type of therapies the type that get the body into wetting that sponge and opening those pores and having the body in a healthy state where it can receive nutrients.
Yeah, your body jolly well knows what to do with it because it's food. And it's made for
And what Dan was saying,
Yeah.
it's so incredible because it detoxes those cells in the body and then nourishes them so
at
that
the
they
same
are
time.
ready to receive
Yeah, like
the
one of the
nutrients.
things my gut specialist told me back when I was really struggling was that I had a low functioning gallbladder. And that was the first time I even considered that such a thing could happen. In my mind, it was, is your gallbladder fixed or is your gallbladder broken?
Yeah.
And so to think of it in terms of, no, it's on a scale. It's just, maybe it's at a 2. So it's like, yeah, you're sort of processing fats. You're
Yeah, right.
sort of digesting all your food and getting
Right.
all your nutrients, but it's low functioning.
Right.
And that's where these nausea symptoms were coming
Right.
from. So I'm always on the quest for like, I'm eating good, but like, how can I really like have the right kind of body? Because I can't perfectly eat all the time.
I know,
don't.
and
There's a
that's
better
why
phrase.
I'm so excited to have these organ therapies, because eating pancreas supports pancreatic health. Or anyone with sluggish digestion or gallbladder issues,
Oh,
science
nice.
says.
And,
Yeah.
and here's another thing to promote the actual science of the Lightrix light. What does our pancreas do in the body? Many things. One of which is to stabilize that roller coaster blood sugar spikes. You know, that our Western way of eating can bring upon our body. But what does eating the pancreas organ do? It helps control blood sugar spikes.
Yeah.
So it's actually supporting our body's pancreas own function.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
Now I want to talk about some of the other things real quick, because we're almost half an hour in now.
I'm not done with the pancreas.
No, we've
It's like
got to
15
get past
more.
it, Serene. You've got to be very, very brutal to time and cut
Yes,
yourself
ma'am.
off. I want to talk about, because it's a gut health, we decided when we talked to our scientific team, we're like, only the best probiotics, please. None of these probiotics that actually cause problems, because people have been doing probiotics for the last 30 years, have been a big deal in the health supplement industry, and so many of them have actually shown to promote issues like SIBO, heard it both ways, because they might be good probiotics, but they go in there and they just cause SIBO, SIBO is just whatever gut bugs are in your lower intestine, they reach into your upper intestine and they proliferate there, and they shouldn't be there.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Thank you, Denny.
SIBO.
So many probiotics these days have been actually shown to make it worse. Well,
Really?
yes.
Whoa.
Well, we didn't want that, and we only wanted the most studied ones. And so here's what is in. And in each of these, you go buy them off Amazon. They're so expensive. We put them all in here. The ones that are safe, the ones that don't promote SIBO actually help SIBO, and the ones that are effective, because some don't even get into your intestine.
Let's start with Saccharomyces boulardii, which
Yeah.
is one of my most favorite.
Impressive. Say that again.
But it is,
Saccharomyces
I call it
boulardii.
S. boulardii.
for short. Good old S. boulardii.
This probiotic is the most researched in the world.
Yes. And it's so incredible.
And do you know that if you're in Europe, Danny, and you get is this the one, Serene, you get an antibiotic given to you? Well, at the same time, they give you S. boulardii.
Yeah.
Oh, because it doesn't interact with the antibiotic.
Right.
Because
and it
it's
keeps
not
you-
a bacteria. It's
Yeah.
actually a yeast.
Is this
Yeah.
the similar? You recommended something to me over the
This
winter.
was it. Yeah.
Same stuff.
Yeah.
But it's packaged how in America there's a.
Yeah, there's a brand with S. boulardii. I think it's called Florista. Is it called
Floristore.
Floristore?
Floristore.
Yeah, that's S.
So
boulardii.
that's just S. boulardii.
Yeah.
Very Italian.
So this S. boulardii it goes after excessive candida overgrowth.
Yes.
And the other thing
Oh,
is
I've
with
got
S.
so much to
boulardii
say about that.
is it helps your gut secrete what is called secretory IgA.
Oh, yeah.
And that is an immunoglobulin, which is so imperative for your gut's first line of defense. So this is not only a supportive and a prebiotic and a probiotic. This whole gut formula is actually helping your gut restore its defense.
So until your product is released, could I just?
It is
should I-
released, bud.
Oh, it's out.
Yes.
I can buy it today.
You can buy it today.
I'm gonna buy it today because this
Yeah.
episode isn't out yet.
I know,
And
it's
since it's
so
gonna
true.
sell out, I'm gonna be the first to have it.
No, we're already getting reports back. And I do want to say something about this. You know, these 3 supplements in
I'm
this
looking it up.
line. It's very interesting because Serene and I started taking these way before we brought them to Trim Healthy Mama World. And at first, when I started taking this supplement, I called you, Serene. I said, I'm more bloated at first.
Yeah.
And then like a month, 6 weeks in, I'm so much less.
I do not even fluff.
Yeah.
In fact, my daughter
Lies.
was like a little toot the other day, and I thought to myself,
Look at JD.
Lies.
I thought to
No one
myself,
believes it.
what is that? Like, who does that anymore?
Well, I have gotten so much less flatulent as well. And we know I'm flatulent Pearl, right?
Yes, that was your middle name.
Oh, is that your?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now there are some good things about some flatulence because it means you've got some good, short chain fatty acids. Some of them,
Yeah.
like butyrate, are quite explosive.
Yeah.
But I think what happens
You
is
get
there's
the
a better.
easy release of it. You
Oh,
don't get
the
the bound
tight.
in the tightness of your bowels.
Yes.
Where you go around, you're like, this is a whole different hemisphere. I have to hold it to support it. It's so tight with flatulence.
But we're getting back some reports now that people are buying this gut therapy, and this is what I've heard. One lady, several of them, 2 or 3 days in, were like, "What the heck? I'm on my period. I'm usually so bloated, my stomach hurts, and I'm not having all the gas." And I'm like, "Boy, that's fast. It was much slower for me."
Well, do you know why? Because you did the very rule-following thing and you took just the suggested amount. Whereas
Yeah.
I think if you're noticing a lot of that cleansing effect of the gut formula, if you're like me, you just jump in, you take double the amount and get that healing process, detoxing process over quicker.
Well, there's only one. It's one supplement per day with this, but already. Oh, you're saying because I started with 2, I went double.
Yeah, I went to 3 to
Oh,
get
you
over my
did, you?
symptoms quick, and then I just went through that detox situation with it, and then I just went down to now I'm at that maintenance.
It's
dose.
interesting because there's some people saying, "Oh my goodness, I've never had such, great reaction to a supplement," and then others are like, "Oh no, I'm feeling a little more bloaty," and I was like, "Hey, that was me.
That was
it will
me,
go
and
away."
I went to 3
Yeah,
a day, and I'm
really.
telling you now. I'm
And then
down to
others
1.
were like, "I'm feeling nothing at all yet. I'm 4 weeks in," but I think with these things, you don't necessarily have to feel because it's what it's doing.
Yeah.
I take a lot of supplements that I don't feel, but I know.
Some people
I'm
are
putting
feelers
things
too,
in.
though, and
Yeah.
some people are just not feelers.
I tend to be a feeler, but you can't count on that. I mean, I don't feel anything once I eat a salad, but I know.
Yeah.
I know that those clean.
At the end of this talk, I want to talk because these are 3 supplements. Don't let me forget. I want to talk about what do you do if you only have the budget for one? Which one would you
we'll
get?
talk about that. We need to move on.
Yep.
Can we talk about one of the key mushies that we
Yeah.
put in here? And let me say it again.
In the
It's
gut.
not just, in the gut formula. It's not just turkey tail, mushroom, mycelium. It's regenerative.
Big
Organic
difference, people.
turkey tail. Massive difference. Let's talk about organic turkey tail, Pearl. Like, it is the most studied
For the gut.
mushroom. Yes. It's a prebiotic in nature. So it has incredible prebiotic fiber to the mycelium, which is incredible
Yeah.
for helping the gut
And that
restore.
actually could be why some people experience a little more bloating at first because
Right.
what do prebiotics do? They offer food for probiotics and they chow down and some of them let off air. And then there has to be this whole kind of balance to the ecosystem come in where bad gut bugs are killed and the
Yeah.
good ones flourish and all of
A
that.
2013 study published in ResearchGate entitled Plant Foods for Human Nutrition verified the fact that turkey tail extract modifies the gut bacteria composition in a positive way. And supplementation showed increased healthy strains and reduced harmful bacteria. It's incredible as a immune supportive function too, Pearl. In fact, people that have had different types of cancers and had, chemotherapy and had incredible, gut damage done by chemotherapy to their body have found incredible gut regeneration by supplementing with turkey
Yeah, and
tail.
that's not just anecdotal. A
Right.
review of 13 different trials, and that was published in Recent Advances in Information and Allergy Drug Discovery, revealed that cancer patients given turkey tail along with standard cancer treatments improved their lifespans compared to those who did not have turkey tail. So it's literally incredible for the gut. But what does the gut do? The gut affects our immune system.
Yeah.
There's so much more in this gut
Well,
supplement
let me
stream,
just
but
say,
we've got to go on to the next one.
We won't expound, but can I just say it has grass-fed bovine colostrum in it.
Humate.
Yes, humate, which is, I wish we could go in about
Humic
humate.
acid. It's the stuff. You know how we get oil from within the earth, Danny?
Yep.
Humate is the ancient soil stuff that is full of minerals. That's
The
ancient.
dark, rich, intensely nutritious substance that's vastly richer in minerals and enzymes than the modern depleted topsoil. The humate is the deep, rich soil. It contains 70 plus trace minerals, a startling array of phytonutrients, vitamins, amino acids, electrolytes, fatty
which
acids,
one is that
silica.
in? Is it
That's in the gut.
And it has potent particles of plant DNA that, of course, do your gut a whole lot of good.
But we need to stop the gut and get onto what we call our ancient multi. And this is
where Danny was like, well, do these organs replace a lot of your vitamins and minerals supplements? Like just, like here's a vitamin B and here's
your B complex. So this
Yes.
is
Okay. So just for clarity, there's 3 supplements. 2 are currently available.
yes, Danny.
And so far we've only talked about the gut supplements.
Yes.
Yep. And now
I'm
we're
tracking.
talking about the ancient multi, and that is liver, grass-fed liver, and
It is.
with it has an incredible, powerful mushroom.
Yeah, it's only 2 things, and we wanted to make
Cordyceps
it very
militaris, which is known as Himalayan gold or Himalayan Viagra.
Cordyceps
incredible for the libido.
militaris.
Yes,
That sounds.
yes. Cordyceps was actually originally a wild mushroom found high in the elevations in the Tibet mountains.
Yeah, it was an
in China.
aggressive mushroom, right?
Did you
Because
2
it-
hike the mountains
No,
of
no,
Himalaya?
we did not.
It's so expensive, that
yes,
one.
do you
that's
know it's
grown natu-
over 20,000 per kilogram?
Yeah, but that's not the one. They've cultivated it now.
Now they've
for
cultivated it,
supplement
so that-
industry.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that was the original.
Let's talk about
story.
liver. Okay, so why did we call this the ancient multi and pack it with grass-fed liver? Because of all the organs, grass-fed liver really has the most, I would say, abundant impacts upon the body.
Let me just read this first
it.
paragraph
Read it.
that we wrote about this
Fine.
supplement.
Could we just read ourselves?
We're not like, this is not somebody else's words. This is our words, so let's just read it. When compared to grass-fed steak, liver provides an impressive 5,000 times more vitamin A per serving and 16 times more vitamin D. It also provides 4 times the iron in a highly absorbable form, and it beautifully increases hemoglobin levels in the blood if they are lagging. Take away, Pearl.
If you're low in energy or have any form of anemia, mild or severe, it would be wise to make grass-fed liver your first go-to. Supplemental iron, and this is what I say to people, it pales in compared to just taking some jolly liver. And it continues to be grass-fed steak with 5 times the vitamin B12 of steak, and we know steak is the highest of B12, and double the selenium. Why do we need selenium? Our thyroid, people. Selenium is vital to your adrenals and your
Yes.
thyroid.
And it's rich in chromium, which, amongst other benefits, helps stabilize your blood sugar, which is why most of us are here on Trim Healthy.
Now, let's get to the folate thing again. Remember I mentioned MTHFR. Those of us with this problem have problems with methylation. Well, Serene and I are both
We both have MTHFR.
we both do. I've tested mine. I have it. And I can go on record that just liver alone, along with my great diet, can take down something called homocysteine.
And you felt this.
I
I've
have seen it on my blood
serum.
work.
Yeah.
Nice.
So homocysteine is an interesting thing. When it's too high in your blood, you have an MTHFR issue going on, because if you're not methylating, your homocysteine goes up. You don't want your homocysteine too high. You don't want it too low. You want it from, according to the experts, and Serene and I have read all sorts of nerdy books about this, you want it from about 7 or 8. That's that optimum level. Now, on my Trim Healthy diet, eating lentils, eating greens, they all help you methylate. And remember, I have an MTHFR. I got my homocysteine tested and it was 12. Not over range, but not optimum.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I'm like, okay.
She needed some extra help.
Yeah, and so on that same diet, having liver and, keeping lentils and all the greens and stuff in my diet, I'm at a perfect 8.
Yeah. It's so
It's
wonderful.
so powerful.
The reason why we've said that liver helps with, this methylating process, like Pearl said before, because it's the highest natural food in folate and vitamin B12. But, we need to also continue to address why B12 is so important, right? Because it is the vitamin we cannot synthesize within our own body, right? It's essential. We must have it to survive. And our body relies on it for hundreds of processes, which are imperative for hormone production, for hormone balance. It's actually interesting, Pearl, that a B12 deficiency is known to cause ovulation changes. So it can be a real key problem with infertility. So many women desiring fertility, having issues with pregnancy or miscarriage, but vitamin B12 in such a bioavailable form like grass-fed liver is such a help.
I find it sad because, and I used to do this. I used to have anemia back in my days when I had issues with reproductive issues, and I was bleeding all the time, and I used to have to be on iron supplements.
Yeah.
And now I just think, oh, Pearl, if only you'd known more about this, I would tell any woman suffering low ferritin, low iron, get it in the natural form that your body knows what the heck to do with. Liver, grass-fed liver. You want the full fat kind. You don't want it with the fat taken out, which is what ours is. You want it grass-fed. And taking that will help you so much with energies. People go and get B12 shots all the time, right, at these regenerative clinics, and taking
synthetic form.
Yes, taking their B12 in this capsules and all of that, when you can get it in a much more absorbable way with desiccated liver, or eat liver. More power to you if you can. I can't.
Yeah.
So people have been writing in like, well, what are my supplements if I want to buy this that can I go off now? And I say, I went off my B complex.
Yeah.
I went off my selenium.
Yeah, because it's not needed anymore.
Vitamin A, you don't, I don't worry
let's
about
talk
that.
about vitamin A. Grass-fed liver is so high in the absorbable kind of vitamin A, which is the retinol.
Yeah.
Right? And that is the animal kind. And it's so important to support our hormone function in premenopause and in perimenopause.
Yes.
But the plant version of vitamin A, the carotene.
Yeah.
It's a failed endeavor to think that can actually correlate to the vitamin A that is usable to our body.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn to that usable kind.
No.
It tries. The body tries to convert it, but it's not enough.
So it's useful to produce and to support the two most, they call them master hormones in our body, which is pregnenolone and DHEA. And those lower as we age, but they're not like women with our ovaries, like our estrogen basically turns off and testosterone. No, these keep going, but they need support.
And they're our anti-stress hormones.
Yes. So it's incredible.
And we cannot produce pregnenolone or DHEA without adequate, proper amounts of the animal-sourced vitamin A.
Again, it's high in K2. What do we need that for? Our cardiovascular system.
And K2
preventing
helps prevent
cancer. Yeah, huge.
Yes.
I
Our
mean,
metabolism. Bone metabolism.
we could go on and on. So
specifically.
what do I not take now? I mean, I take all three of these, okay? But I'm understanding people don't have the budget. But if I just were to take one, we haven't even got to the immune. Okay.
If it was cold and flu season, maybe I'd be just like, I'll just take the immune. But on a regular, if I only had the budget for one,
You
I would
also
do
ran out of
grass-fed.
the immune when you got this cold too.
Oh,
you didn't have it.
No, literally, it went to Pearl's house.
Yeah.
And Pearl's daughter was
Autumn.
like, oh, there's an extra bottle here. Oh, well, Mum's got hers. They must have sent two to Pearl.
she took it.
Autumn took that. It was actually mine. And she has been dealing with psoriasis.
Yeah.
And she takes all kinds of natural supplements and natural creams that are very, very potent. And she only gets lackluster results. But Pearl, you tell that story.
Oh, yeah. She's been saying, Mum, that immune. It's like she took it over and she's like, this has been the biggest thing to help with my autoimmune psoriasis.
Let your food.
Yeah.
What was it? Let
your
thy
medicine.
food be thy medicine, and thy
Yeah.
medicine thy food. What? So if you said you only had one, which was it
Well,
again?
it depends what stage of life you're in. If I
Okay.
was a premenopausal woman or a woman in perimenopause, I'm still cycling and all of that, I would get this basic ancient multi. It's covering all your bases. If I had major gut issues,
Okay.
I would get the gut and I wouldn't worry about that. But if I had major immune compromised things, and that was
Okay.
my biggest problem, I'd get the immune.
But don't just think that this ancient moldy is just covering your regular normal basis. Just listen to this. If you need a detox, that's why it really annoys me.
Yeah.
People, I'm going to do a spring detox. I'm going to just do on a juice fast. go on a juice fast. But you see, there is not these, fat soluble special
I know.
vitamin A and vitamin D and things like that actually that help support the detoxification pathways. Listen to this. Liver provides trace mineral molybdenum and in high amounts. And that acts as a coenzyme that supports the conversion of sulfites to sulfates and supports the metabolism and detoxifications of medications and alcohol.
Okay, now
So if it's like, oh, it's been the big Christmas holiday season, and maybe I was, had a bit too much alcohol, or there's been, cold and flu season, some medications for that, some sinus relief, whatever. You know what? Liver is the best spring detox.
Okay, so I'm a wine drinker. I don't drink it to excess, but my husband and I, I've even had parties about this. Don't judge me, fellow Christians, but Jesus did turn wine.
water into wine.
Wine is the first miracle. I love good dry red wine.
She doesn't like a bottle.
No,
She likes
I
a
don't
cup.
drink. Yeah, I drink a glass of wine. But if I
And not every night.
ever go off that, once I went to perimenopause, if I ever went over my one glass, headache,
You feel
major headache,
Yeah.
major headache.
I'm that way with alcohol.
Whether
I'm
it was sulfites,
trashed
whether it was
after.
all the other things, whatever they say they are. But now, since I have started on this, I can, if I want to, go over and have that tiny little bit more, and I won't get a headache. I won't get my stiff neck. Why? It's detoxifying the
also-
issues with alcohol
It
in my
also
body.
contains glutathione. Liver does.
Oh,
Wait, which
yes.
supplement are we talking about as the detoxifying?
This is the ancient multi, the
This is the
liver.
multi.
Do you know they all detoxify?
They do, but I
Because
found
they all have liver?
I find if I
No, they
drink a
don't all
glass
have
of
liver.
wine at night, Serene, I take most of my. So the amount that you take of this this ancient multi is, we say, up to 6 because it's food, so you don't
Yeah.
have to take a certain amount. So if I drink a glass of wine at night, I'll take 2 in the morning, but I will take 4 at night with my dinner time, and I found I just
Really?
wake up feeling fan-jolly-tastic.
It's like an anti-hangover
Yes.
situation.
Yes, and
Or-
I'm not going to just use it and go drink 5 drinks, but I'm going to
But
use
some
it to
people are.
I'm older, right? And as we get older,
Yeah.
we don't detoxify alcohol as well. There's good benefits to alcohol, but sometimes the bad overweigh it, and that was doing it for me, and I feel so good when I wake up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I generally then I just take about 4 a day just for budget.
We have to move on.
Oh, we
we have
gotta
to move on to the mushroom in this
Ancient multi.
incredible.
Let's move on.
Yeah, it's the Cordyceps militaris, like we said. Like we said, Himalayan gold is one of its names, or Himalayan Viagra, because it is energy enhancing to the body. So it enhances energy in every area, even libido. But it is incredible for energy boosting abilities. Athletes, marathon runners, any kind of cardiovascular, like that are in a cardiovascular sport where they sport where they need extra energy, often they will supplement with Cordyceps.
Now, why? It does it through its improvement of the oxygen uptake into your body's ATP. So
Right.
you know what ATP, right?
It's
You've
the
heard it,
energy
Danny.
currency of life.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's it stand for?
ATP is a molecule that's, the little, special, not mantra, but, the little sentence that it's like
Mantra-
famous.
yeah,
The
slogan.
energy currency of life is what they call ATP.
Does
Yes.
it stand for something?
Yes,
And
adenosine triphosphate.
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's your cellular
Energy.
energy. And so Cordyceps is actually an adaptogen. Adaptogens are energy promoting. You think of what's an adaptogen? The main one that people know of, it's the ginseng.
Yeah.
But ginseng, you see, can have this effect where it only lasts a while. You got to go off it for a while, and some people don't do well with ginseng, but there's not the same issues.
And
with this.
also not the same issues as caffeine, because caffeine is almost like a forced gusto. Like you're feeling exhausted and you're like, oh, I'm going to force this. It gives you this force like surge.
I read that caffeine
But-
blocks the tired receptors or something in the body. It's not so much that it is stimulating with a crazy chemical as much as it blocks the tired feeling.
Really, that's interesting.
Well, it is known as a stimulant, but I'd have to look into
I'm
that.
not
but
against caffeine.
No.
I have 2 coffees a day. That's just part of my
enjoyment.
self-care, enjoyment in life. I love coffee, and
It's
coffee
legal?
coffee
too.
is antioxidants. It's
But in what I was saying though is the cordyceps doesn't work like that. Okay, I'm going to just force out a rush of energy.
I don't
It's
feel
more
it
like
like
they call it an anti-fatigue.
Yeah.
So it just basically supports energy and keeps it there within your body.
Yeah, so for those, to clarify, for those asking, if you take the ancient multi,
It's also neuroprotective.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not telling you what to do, but I stopped my B complex, I stopped my selenium. I still personally take vitamin D K2, it's a supplement. Why? Because even though liver will help my vitamin D and it has K2, I'm a postmenopausal woman. That age is the highest risk for breast cancer. So I like my vitamin D above 80. And to get there, I take a supplement. It's just shown in studies to be protective to have it above 80. So to get there, I still take my vitamin D. That would be up to you.
Are you doing frequent blood tests to know where your
Yeah.
levels are? And how often?
I mean, I don't know. We're
3 times a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so quarterly
But
at
once you
most.
know where your supplements get you,
yeah.
Okay,
you
I
start to
know.
learn,
I've
yeah.
taken vitamin D for about 5 years very consistently.
And you know where,
we could go into why
We can't.
like enhances premenopausal hormones. And,
Yeah.
it's such a wonderful support.
I know.
But we just don't have the time. So we're going to have to move on to the next and our final
immune
wellness.
And let's talk about first, Serene, because the organs here are very
Yeah.
important in this, the animal organs. And let's talk about grass-fed kidney.
Trying to find.
Kidney is an immunity booster by providing powerful anti-inflammatory properties. And it is rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3. Now, source matters for omega-3, right, Serene?
Yeah.
Because you could get bovine kidney at your local market and it wasn't raised on regenerative grasses and it won't have as much omega-3. And
at all.
omega-3 is a potent detoxifier, anti-inflammatory. And so another thing is that kidney does, it helps your electrolyte levels.
It does.
Like rather than taking electrolytes all day, just getting enough kidney extract can actually help your own body enter into this homeostasis where your own body does it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's super high in selenium.
Again,
too.
for your
a lot of these
thyroid.
organs are, but the kidney is so wonderful for supporting the thyroid because we need adequate amounts of selenium to support the thyroid. So it's a wonderful thyroid nourisher, the kidney, and it also helps convert that T4, our inactive thyroid hormone, into the active T3 form of thyroid hormone. So this is absolutely a wonderful supporter for the thyroid, even though it's about immune and wellness.
And we take our thyroid meds,
Yes.
but we also take these as well. But another thing it does, guys, and so many of you talk about, hey, I have a histamine issue. Maybe I can't
Yeah.
even do kefir right now. You hear about it all the time, people with histamine issues, and they've got allergies to certain foods. Well, kidney is incredible for histamine issues. So if you have a major histamine issue, maybe I would even consider getting just a kidney extract where you're getting more,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because what it does is it affects the DAO levels. And that's all about histamine. It's to do with that, with inadequate DAO.
Right. And also, desiccated kidney is just so wonderful in providing that beautiful array of all your B vitamins.
And then thymus. Let's talk about thymus.
Yes,
Because
please.
thymus gland, that is your immune system,
yeah.
right?
Your thymus gland in your body, it regulates your immune system.
This is a thing.
Yeah, you say it.
Well, it depends how old you are. You
Yeah.
don't really have much thymus left. Do you know that the thymus gland in the end, when we're all old, it's basically not a thymus gland anymore. It
Shriveled up
disintegrates
piece of-
into this just little bit of calcification.
And guess what's so interesting? People are like, well, I'm 40 something, I'm not that old. Wait till I'm 80 to worry about it. No. Do you know that it starts to decline after puberty?
Whoa.
Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
That's when it starts. You know how muscle starts to decline after 30? The thymus gland starts to decline after
By
puberty.
3% each year. So that means by 50, and I'm 54, you only have about 15% of your thymus left. At 65, it cannot do its job that it was originally
And what is its
done.
job? To produce those T cells that fight off disease.
So that's why everyone tells old people, go get your shots. You're at higher risk. You're all this, because they don't have a thymus gland working anymore.
But if you take thymus, it keeps nourishing your own thymus gland and keeps it all nice and...
But let's say you're 60 listening to
Yeah.
this right now, and your thymus gland is mostly disintegrated into this piece of calcification.
And it's like in your neck?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, thymus. I don't know. I'm pointing to my neck. Where's
thymus?
the thymus? That's my thyroid.
How do you
I
spell
don't know where
thymus?
my thymus is.
How do you spell thymus?
Thymus. Where is it? And then I'll point to my right body part. But do you know this? Serene and I looked into this because we like Serene. Remember that phone call?
Yeah.
Okay, it nourishes our thyroid, but we're getting older now.
Yeah.
Is it too late? What if our thyroid
Yes.
glands are mostly gone? If you take thymus extract, it actually does the same thing as your own thymus. So it is a like treats like thing, and supplementation greatly aids our own. It does what our own thymus
Because
gland
it
would
has
do.
3 peptides in
Yeah.
it. Okay, these are small proteins, and when you take thymus in, you're taking in thymosin alpha 1, which helps develop these disease-fighting T cells, and thymopietin, which is has a serum thymic factor, which further regulates and supports immune health. And then what is the other one there? It's the thymin alpha 1, and then thymopietin and serum thymic factor. Those are 2 different things. And
Okay, you can fix all that, JD.
Okay, let's start again. So it has 3 peptides when you take this thymus gland. And it
They
has
act like your own thymus if it were
right,
in
because they
shape.
would be producing these 3
Yeah.
peptides. And what are they? They're thymosin alpha 1 and thymopietin and serum thymic factor. And these further regulate the immune health.
Okay, I had an epiphany.
Yeah.
You know, we do things by the seat of our pants. So, Danny, you asked, well, what would you take if you didn't have the budget? If I was over 60,
Yeah.
I'd go for this one. Why?
Right.
Because I've barely got a thymus gland anymore.
Right.
And I want to protect my immune system, and I want those thymus peptides.
If I've got leaky gut and I'm going around bloated all day, I'd take gut health. If I'm just a regular, especially premenopausal, perimenopausal woman, I'm not yet supporting my hormones through bioidentical hormones, but I want something to support my hormones, support robust foundational health, I would take the ancient multi.
and these are all good for men too.
What about
Brilliant.
teenage girls?
I would take the ancient multi.
Absolutely.
ancient multi.
Yes.
Okay, you know what else is in this immune wellness? We have more than just the thymus and more than the kidney. We also have the grass-fed spleen,
Yeah.
which contains peptides again, that when we partake them and digest them, they impart incredible help through these peptides, tufsin and splenopentin. And both of those help stimulate the immune defense system by enlisting macrophages,
Yeah.
but macrophages. I
And
should
spleen
pronounce
is
it
one of the
properly.
only animal substances in the whole world that actually has vitamin C. So we know the plant world has vitamin C.
And it's the highest source of natural
Yeah.
iron. And what
Right.
happens when you put
So-
iron and C together, Pearl?
the two together, they work better.
Yes, if they're separate,
So, and
be
spleen
absorbed
actually
properly.
contains vitamin C. Now, I do have to say, people ask us, well, what? I got asked this the other day. If I take the immune, should I still take vitamin C? Well, I like to get vitamin C through my diet. So leafy greens, baobab. I love baobab.
Yes.
And I love berries. All those things provide vitamin C. And then I do take the immune. But then if things are going around like our hilltop, like I'm sitting next to Serene today, who
Are you double dosing on this immune wellness?
Yeah. Yes, but you stopped taking this. You had late nights. You were around people that got sick. You're sick sitting here. I do take vitamin C at that time daily. Like I went and got some in my body before I came here and sat next to you. And we take the buffered form.
Yes, the sodium.
Sodium ascorbate. We find that to be the most effective. So I do take vitamin C if things are going around, if I want to protect myself.
I forgot to tell you that if you suffer with allergies,
Yeah.
the thymus gland supplementation in this immune and wellness, it's incredible for itchy eyes and all that kind of stuff, asthma, sneezing. Now, the spleen, back to the spleen. Spleen is incredible for restless legs, which I have suffered from in the past, where you
Yeah.
just get so tired and exhausted and run down, you just feel like shaking your legs. Have you ever had restless legs? Have you had it?
I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
had it. You have?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. If I'm sitting in a chair too late at night,
Yes.
it's like I'm just like,
Yes.
ugh, and then I
Really?
gotta stretch them, and
Yes.
I'm like,
you have
somebody,
it too, JD? I never had it. Have you had it recently?
Oh,
Serene?
yes. When I get overtired, it's like
Ah.
somebody put me out of my misery and send me to bed.
Yeah, it's like
Really?
literally
Yeah.
your legs are sending you to bed. So if you just lay down, you can stay up till like 2 a.m. on your phone.
I can't do that because I know the blue light's so bad for me. I've like
now
scared
listen,
myself
we gotta
out of
move
that.
on because we're already over an hour. What is the wonderful regenerative organ from the plant world that we have in this? What is our organ
Shiitake,
mushi?
because that's the
Yes.
immune mushroom.
Yes.
Shiitake.
It
Oh
has
my
a
goodness.
rich supply of antioxidants in the shiitake mushroom, which helps damaged cells and absolutely lowers, those damaged cells that can promote cancer, that can turn cancerous. Yeah.
I mean, and it's a prebiotic fiber. It's a gut thing. I'm thinking more and more. Definitely, if I was maybe even over 50, 60, and I only want to get one, I would get this immune, because guess what? This immune formula also has the good probiotics in it of the
Yeah.
gut, just not as in as high doses the soil probiotic, because and it also has got Terminalia bellerica extract.
And it also is a bioavailable source of vitamin D, which is so important for immune function as we're older.
But can we talk about beta-glucan? We shoved that in there too.
We shoved that in there too. Oh, beta-glucan. When my son Arden was fighting cancer, that was the one supplement we made sure we kept in there. Beta-glucan fights cancer. Why? Because it's a powerhouse to uplift the immune system and support the immune system.
Do you know that it outperforms vitamin C
Yes.
for immune health and wellness and studies beta-glucan versus vitamin C? Constantly beta-glucan will outperform
You know,
it.
beta-glucan also is an anti-diabetic agent.
Really?
It's amazing for lowering blood sugar. Incredible. It
and then
produces
there's-
short-chain fatty acids, right?
And then
So-
we put organic melon fruit extract, which also brings down your blood sugar. But you know what? We could go on and on. We need to stop. So Nate was just saying to me, can you summarize what you probably don't need to take currently that you might be taking if you take each one of these? So let's say you take the gut. Well, then it's probably not necessary to take whatever probiotic you're currently on.
Right.
But hey, if that's working for you, we're not saying you have to swap it with ours.
But real food probiotics like kefir
Yeah.
or, yogurt, kombucha, stay on those because, or, culture veggies, that's just life. That's just wonderful. But this is fantastic when you're traveling and you can't take all of those things too.
That's
Make
true.
sure you have all this wonderful bacteria coming into your body when you cannot get to those mainstay foods.
Yeah. And then, so we covered the ancient multi. What could you let go of probably? What did we let
so
go of? We
much.
did,
your synthetic B vitamin.
or just
B
your methylated
complexes.
ones, your B
Yeah.
complex. We no longer take selenium, no vitamin A. So if you just have a basic multi right now, to me, I would say you're going to absorb so much more nutrients than some multi
Yes.
that is a bunch of,
yellow pea. is
yellow
what it really
pea. Your body knows what
produces.
to do with this. And then the immune, what could you let go of? Well, probably you could let go of daily vitamin C if you're taking that. Or you could take it along with it, but the beta-glucan is going to outperform it.
And then the other thing is, I think it will slowly allow you to lower allergy meds as you go. I really believe that is it's a powerful just healer of your immune system, where you might end up lowering meds that you're on for
Because there's blood sugaring
sensitivities.
lowering meds. It's blood sugaring lowering substances in here too. Dan, you got any last questions? We're about to stop.
Yeah, I do.
I knew you did, and you were just so patient with us.
Well, this was super interesting. I mean, I'm actually, I just
Which one are you thinking of? Because I know your brain's churning.
For me, the gut one.
Yeah.
For my daughter, the multi. I'm wondering what else should a 14-year-old girl be on if she's on the multi?
See, I just wouldn't. I think that covers so many bases,
Yeah.
Serene.
Yeah, I just think it's just so, especially because the 14-year-old girl in this Western society, their diet, especially if they have a lot of friends that are just eat the regular way, their diet's going to be lacking.
Yeah, they're on
And
pizza.
so this just covers that ancient nutrition that you're meant to have to be, when you're 14, you're still growing.
Yeah,
You
you
need
are, and-
bedrock nutrition, and this provides that foundation.
I have not found a way to beat my teens into following my health
So when they
advice.
have that pizza, at least they're getting a capsule that's full of oxtail stew, like some ancient meal you would have had,
That's where I'm at. I can't I might be able to talk them into taking these vitamins. That's what I'm going to experiment with, because what's interesting is they like they like their little worthless supplements that are on the top shelf at Walgreens, that have nice colors, and it's a gummy, and it's for teen girl. It says teen girls right on the
they
front.
like
and
the
it's just
idea of it.
And I'm looking at
It's
them.
just like fake yellow pea.
Yeah, and I just don't buy it. But yeah, they peak yellow, and they're like, my vitamins. There's so much mental in the vitamin world. In reality, adults just love to eat their gummy candies. And it's just like, oh, this is vitamin C gummy candy. And it's like...
It's going to be hard to get them to swallow 6 capsules a day, but,
Yeah.
you'd want to take 6 if you're...
It goes down like a...
It's easy for me, but
Are they
you want to
big?
take...
No, they're not big at
but
all.
They probably won't need 6 because she's young. She's 14, so maybe 2 in the morning, 2 at night.
But what I'm saying is they like to take their things. Like she
Oh,
has
they
a
like
little...
to.
Yeah, because she takes
Oh, then.
probiotics. And so she has
Oh.
this little pill capsule thing in her
Cute.
purse. And it's for her, it's a trendy, cute thing
Okay,
to
that's
do.
cute, yeah.
So, I think that's one of the ways I think you can get teenagers
She's
to
going to be
take stuff
so
like that.
supported then for her premenopausal years, taking this, keeping her
from PCOS.
I know.
Keeping her from all these weird hormonal imbalanced
Yeah.
new diseases.
and keeping her hemoglobin up. So many young girls are anemic.
yeah.
So it's going to support girls on their periods,
Oh.
losing
Oh, yeah.
blood and iron.
Huge.
yeah.
Yeah, if a woman wants to get pregnant,
yes.
it would definitely be the ancient multi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what we would
supportive.
suggest.
Supports
Yes,
fertility
because the
and-
liver supports fertility. Yeah.
And
What if they don't want to get pregnant? What do they do?
yeah, but it's good to have good fertility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a sign of health.
yeah.
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 If you don't want to get pregnant, just focus on pizza.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get PCOS, and then getting pregnant is very hard.
Love it.
All
Hey,
right.
no, before you leave, just want to say I extra appreciate this one. I don't know why, but I was really here just the amount of research you put in to what you're doing. And I know it's your own personal passion. Like you're always asking like how can you optimize your own health? How can you really be around for your family and be the best you can be? But there's so many businesses. Like through my whole life, I'm like, man, I could start a taco restaurant. I could do this, but all of it, my motivations were just to get paid, and I know obviously you have a brand and you have products you're selling, but I don't know. It just feels like there's more here than somebody getting paid, that you care about what's going in this stuff.
Well, we let our husbands know, they worry about the money. We don't. Like, we don't know how much our company
We're
makes
like, you
and
make
stuff.
sure you put enough in that this is the bomb diggity bomb. It has to work. They're like, well,
I was looking at the
don't know. We're
prices
like,
on the
put it
website,
in.
and for 180 capsules,
Yeah.
it seems super fair. I'm not trying to
And
promo
they're
it right now.
regenerative, so there's the difference. So it's not cheap crap yellow pea stuff. This is completely
That's what I'm
different.
saying.
And greater health to every home. Yeah, your guys' home's great, but we care about our home first.
I know.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to give
wanna
you something that's $12.99 because it's going to help you $12.99 money's worth. You know what I mean? That's not going to help you. If it's $12.99 per month, your local little Sun Valley stuff from Walmart or whatever.
Oh no, any quality supplement that's like whole food, based, that's real. I mean, and there's barely any of it out there. I mean, it starts at $60
yeah.
for
It does,
a
but
month.
you know what? I mean, it starts, of course, with your diet. Like you said, you got teenagers, and they, no matter what you say, you can't force them. So supplements are great in that area. But like, if you're listening, and like, hey, my budget's tight, I can't do that. I can't do any of these. Hey, just do the nutritive foods.
You can be a
too.
weirdo like me.
That's
My daughter
great.
has a job. She works at a cafe. She's 15. She buys her own. She buys her own ancient multi.
Yeah.
Because I can't, it's like I have many, many children. I can't
Yeah.
put them all on ancient multi.
No.
But she had some issues
Yeah.
where she just needed support hormonally.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, oh, this is worth it for me. This is great.
Well, I'll tell you what I can't do is remove the entrails of a buffalo and eat the liver of an ox. That sounds like expensive.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
So I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, see you guys. Bye.